Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. Before I get into today's episode, just want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. I'm getting close to 2,000 subscribers, so if you guys do enjoy the content, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So for today's episode, I want to talk about Jimmy Butler. There was a report that came out recently from Mark Stein, NBA insider, who said the Houston Rockets, again, are a potential suitor for Jimmy Butler if the Miami Heat decide to trade the all-star forward anytime this season or even next season if he somehow picks up his player option. Jimmy Butler does have a player option next season for $52 million. If he opts out of that player option, he will be a free agent. If he opts in to that contract, then the Miami Heat will have Jimmy Butler on an expiring contract and would have to trade him next season in order to get something from him before he becomes an outright free agent. So the Rockets are also increasingly mentioned by monitoring rivals as a team to watch should Miami ever reach a point that it chooses to explore trade options with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, we know, is from Texas. He grew up 30 miles from Houston, so this would be a homecoming of sorts for Jimmy Butler. Like I just mentioned, Butler could become a free agent in 2025 by declining his $52 million option. So we'll see what happens. But team president Pat Riley mentioned during the offseason that they don't want to trade Jimmy Butler. He's a needle mover for this team. We don't know what is going to happen. There's a lot of different things that can happen. But despite the uncertainty surrounding the long-term outlook for Jimmy Butler with the Miami Heat's organization, the Heat may not be willing to part ways with Jimmy Butler just yet. And that is according to Shams, who reports for The Athletic and then now ESPN. And he mentioned back in the summer, which was a few months ago now, that the Miami Heat have shown no interest in trading Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler was saying the right things too before the season started, during training camp, media day, preseason, that he wants to win a championship with the Miami Heat. He doesn't care about the money. He wants to play as many games as possible. So we'll see if that's true or not. But the Miami Heat this season so far, they've opened up the 24-25 season with a record of 1-1. Jimmy Butler had one of the worst games in a Miami Heat uniform. In the first game, when we got blown out by the Orlando Magic, Jimmy Butler was 1 for 8 from the field in the season opener, had only 3 points last season. He had one single-digit game, which he scored 8 points, and he was, I think, 4 for 8 from the field in that game, and it was a 40-point blowout against the Portland Trailblazers. So Jimmy played like 25 minutes only. That is completely different from the season opener, where he only shot 8 times, 1 for 8, and only had 3 points, looked disengaged. So it wasn't a good sign, but had a bounce-back performance this weekend against the Hornets, where he had 26 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, got to the free throw line and took 17 free throws, which was great to see. So not sure how the Miami Heat are going to be at the midway point or close to where the trade deadline comes up in February. Who knows what's going to happen with the Miami Heat, what the record will be, if there's going to be injuries or not, or if they're going to be a top 5, top 6 team in the East. If they are, I don't really see the Miami Heat trading Jimmy Butler. So it all depends on how he plays this season. And is it possible that the Miami Heat trade at the trade deadline? Anything's possible, of course. Do the Houston Rockets make sense for Jimmy Butler? I don't know. I mean, they're a young team. It's difficult to imagine that the Heat move Jimmy Butler to a Rocket-led team who is led by 22-year-old guard Jalen Green and 22-year-old Alperen Sengun. So they're super young. They have Jabari Smith. They have Cam Whitmore. They have Reed Shepard. They have, was it Amen Thompson? Like, they have so many young pieces. They do have a couple veterans. They have guard Fred VanVleet, who's an NBA champion. They have Dylan Brooks. So adding Jimmy Butler in there, not sure what that package would look like. Obviously, you would have to give up some young pieces and draft capital for the Miami Heat. But is that enough to help the Houston Rockets win now? No, obviously not. I don't think so. But will it help get them into the playoff mix and even possibly avoid the play-in? Of course it will. I think if you add Jimmy Butler to that team, the Houston Rockets could be a top 6 team in the West easily. Also, it depends on how much they give up, but still, with all the young pieces that they have, that they can afford to give up and still keep players like a Jalen Green and a Sengun, it could make sense for the Houston Rockets. But again, I don't know if I would want to do that if I was the Houston Rockets right now, just to get into the playoffs. Like, you need that experience. That's why you brought on Fred VanVleet and Brooks. But is Jimmy Butler going to be a needle mover? Do you want to give up those draft picks? But they are becoming crowded, and they do have a lot of pieces. And I'm not sure that Houston can develop all those pieces. So trading the Miami Heat, Cam Whitmore, and let's say Amen Thompson in a first round pick or two, whatever, maybe that works. I don't know if that's what I would want as a Miami Heat fan. But yeah, the Rockets have shown an interest in making moves and trying to make a playoff push with this young, up and coming, talented core. And with the Miami Heat, they don't have a real direction right now. We're doing that blended build thing again, where we have Jimmy and Bam, Terry Rozier, and our veterans. And then, of course, we have young guys like Jaime, Jovic, Kalel Ware, some undrafted pieces as well. So we're kind of doing that blended build at the same time, which is difficult to do. So we'll see. I don't know. This is just a rumor. We'll see if these rumors or speculation heats up with Jimmy Butler throughout the season. I'm sure they will, especially because some folks on the Heat side and the fans would probably want to get something for Jimmy Butler versus letting him walk away completely for free next season as a free agent. So anyway, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching again, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.